The Haruna Idrisu-led minority group arguably is one of the caucuses with high expectations since Ghana's fourth Republican Constitution. Not only is the group comprised with highly enthusiastic and experienced members, they have the advantage of numbers on their side. In the aftermath of the 2020 election, the country returned with a near-hung parliament. This took the advantage that majority caucuses have always enjoyed from the ruling New Patriotic Party, with a 137 NPP, 137 NDC, and an independent composing the 8th Parliament. Many were of the belief that this will result in reshaping views that Parliament is a rubber stamp to the executive. The commencement of the 8th Parliament showed such prospects. The election of Speaker Bagwin perhaps rekindled hope in the possibility of a working democracy. The group, led notably by Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka Mubarak, stood their ground amidst military presence and attempts to tamper the election process. They made history by electing Alban Bagwin as the first speaker to be nominated by a party in opposition.
The clerk has been escorted out by policemen, and the NDC minority, the NDC caucus are trying as much as possible to get the military men out.
It's not what we expected coming here today. And they appear resolute. None of them is sitting. They are all standing, pushing what they believe is right, whilst the members of the MPP side are comfortably seated and observing proceedings.
Someone has taken the ballot papers. Someone has taken the uncounted ballot papers. Is that Carlos Ahinkra? That's Carlos Ahinkra, isn't it, of Tema West? And he's been attacked.
This feat seemed to have boosted the confidence of the minority group in Parliament. The group has gone ahead to oppose key government businesses they believed were not in the interest of Ghanaians. Notable amongst them are the opposition to the electronic transfer levy and rejection of aspects of the 2023 budget, including exclusion of expenditure items such as the 80 million Ghana cedis allocation to the National Cathedral, the 27.5 million Ghana cedis allocation to the Special Development Initiative, and the 1.3 billion Ghana cedis allocation for the construction of the Accra International Conference Center.
There are simply people who don't understand the workings of Parliament, and I'm saying that Haruna Idrisu, I don't serve on the Mines and Energy Committee. I don't serve on the Finance Committee. They bring a decision to plenary, and I'm guided by what the committee recommends. And I'm saying that I provide leadership, and I've always advised the leadership of the minority. I mean, I've been a very liberal minority leader. That's why you see all this posturing of ranking members having their space in order that we work with common direction.
But all has not been rosy with the minority group. Their leaders at a point were literally on the chopping board after losing the vote on some ministers who the party wanted to be rejected. These ministers included Kwadwo Oponne Nkrumah and Hawa Kumsen. The party base at the time expressed disquiet at the failure of leaders in Parliament. Sami Jemfi, the communications director of the party, sided with the party base and accused the leadership, particularly Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka Mubarak, of sabotaging the party's interest. This was opposed by the leadership.
I was having a meeting with the national chairman, the general secretary, and some respected members of the Council of Elders of the NDC. The party is focused to work towards recapturing power in 2024, and the parliamentary organ, led by me currently, will do what is needful to work in tandem with the party to hold the Nana Akufo-Addo government accountable and to lead the party to victory into 2024. Whatever storm it is, we'll weather it. As for undermine, I have survived it. I will survive it. But it's only natural. I hear people getting worried about whether Haruna wants to run for high office or not. Some of you have even decided to go and produce a three-piece suit for me. I've never worn a three-piece suit in my life. Neither have I owned that particular grain tie.
This was echoed by a former member of parliament for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak, who directly called for the head of Haruna Idrisu.
As far as I am concerned, it's a vote of no confidence in the leadership. And there are people who are unhappy, but who may not express their unhappiness publicly.
If we are looking for new leaders, what names should we look at among the minority caucus?
I wouldn't take that bait and that invitation to go into that arena, but I am completely of the view that the continued state of the minority leader as leader of the NDC parliament has become untenable, given the collapse of trust from his own benches in his leadership.
Around the same time, the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, raised concerns about the vetting process and resigned from the appointments committee. It may appear this formed the basis for processes that have culminated into the removal of the minority leaders. General Secretary of the NDC at the time, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, noted that steps are being taken to either change or maintain the leadership of the party.
We reconstitute the leadership of Parliament, even if it means to reconfirm them. We haven't done that yet because of the court case. And so we started, but we got to a point where we felt that let us finish with the court case and we'll come back to it. So it is something that we are going to...
We may see a change or a retention very soon.
Yes.
But tempers were calmed and it appeared all calls for their removal had died down. But almost 2 years after this, the reshuffle has been made and some are surprised. 3 out of the 5 leaders have been set aside. They are Haruna Idrisu, who is a minority leader, James Kluche Aveji, Deputy Minority Leader, Muntaka Mubarak, Minority Chief Whip. First Deputy and Second Deputy Minority Whips Ahmed Ibrahim and Comfort Doyo Gansa were however maintained. But can the past mishaps of the leaders be attributed for the decision?
In terms of the performance of the caucus during the early days, I think that was an issue that has been resolved because, they got a lot of hit from their base. They got a lot of hit from Ghanaians who are not even sympathetic to the NDC and so on. And they learned their lessons. So moving forward from the very first quarter of this parliament, I think a lot of amends were made. We saw the kind of spirited defense that they put on behalf of Ghanaians.
The party, in one of the letters to the leaders, explained that the move is to better position the party for election 2024. But if that is the case, what may have accounted for the choice of Kesel Atuforsen and Governs Kwame Agboja as the new leaders?
The truth of the matter is that the 2024 election is going to be fought around the economy. So the debate basically is going to be about the economy. You know it and I know it. And so if you are a party serious in fighting and winning elections, you must put your best foot forward so that you can win the debate. You can't just go and be telling people that the economy is in shambles, the economy is in shambles when you are not able to put your experts there to be able to communicate to Ghanaians how you do things better.
But the Executive Director of Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Ramani, says the reasons are untenable.
I don't know if on matters of the economy, on matters of energy and so on, even under the current leadership, I think each time we saw the minority caucus, holding a press conference on the economy, I thought that I've always seen Dr. Tuforsen giving the visibility and giving the space, to lead the minorities charge on economic matters. So really, I am not too sure whether that's an argument that will really hold, because I don't think there's anything that prevented him, for instance, from expressing and leading the minorities' position on the economy over the last 2 years. I am not too sure if very much would change. Perhaps he might not even get the chance to do more of that now that he's a leader.
Meanwhile, a member of the minority caucus in Parliament, Murtala Muhammad, has also accused the party of not consulting the minority caucus.
Who took that decision? Was it taken at FEC? Was it taken at NEC? Did Congress take that decision? So if it wasn't taken at FEC and it wasn't taken at NEC, why? On what basis was the decision taken? These are some of the questions we are asking. These are some of the questions.
Now,
look, I respect the leadership of our party, and don't get me wrong. And I'm not defending anybody. I've told you I have had open disagreements with this leadership of our caucus. But the question I ask simply is that what mistake? What would they have done by just informing us and consulting us, as the practice has been in Parliament? Why didn't they do that?
But how true is this? Fifi Fiavi-Kwete is General Secretary of the NDC.
At the level of the functional executive, the party has a leader, and the leader is the chairman of the party. And the party has a chief executive, and that chief executive is a general secretary of the party. And also you have what you call the council of elders of the party. You also have the only living former president that we have. So clearly, when it comes to the apex of the party, I'm talking about leadership of the party. These are the groups that are widely consulted, and that consultation has been done.
Was former President Mahama consulted on this decision?
I've just told you that he's been consulted. Yeah.
And he approved that you should go ahead with what you were going ahead with.
I just told you that he has been duly consulted and his views were taken into consideration. Yeah. I can state without any hesitation that Honorable Nadiso was informed yesterday.
Is your decision final or is subject to more consultations? Is it a final decision or you can reverse this?
The leadership of the party at the highest level has taken the decision, and that is what it is.
Former Deputy Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine believes the decision is undemocratic.
We are a democratic party. In fact, democracy is our middle name. The NDC is National Democratic Congress. And so we should conform to democratic principles in decisions that we make as a party. And so it is true that there was no consultation, at least I wasn't consulted. There was no caucus meeting at which we were told that a new leadership, was being proposed for a parliament and so on.
There have been calls for the decision to be rescinded. But what impact may this pose on the caucus if the decision is not rescinded?
If what the honorable member is saying, that they were not consulted, is anything to go by, then maybe in the coming days we are going to hear more voices as such. And that would mean that we are going to start seeing a break in the ranks of the party. And like I was saying earlier, the previous leadership was able to mobilize all their forces and ensure that everybody, was united and voted in a certain way.
It appears the impact may be dire beyond the parliamentary caucus, as the constituents of Haruna Idrisu have already taken to the streets to protest this decision.
This afternoon, I hear some news that there make some changes in the Parliament House. So that one, many people don't understand why that thing happened like that. Because since 1992, you never experienced that thing before. So that's the first time you experience this one. So I don't understand. That's why the people of Dagbon, that's why the people of North region, that's why the people of Muslims, they don't understand why. Sent to Katia and the General Secretary that it's a take time. It's a take time. The things we that do is not good. It's to take the decision. It's to reverse the decision. It's to reverse the decision. No. I give them 24 hours. If you not take that, if you not reverse the decision, you will see what will happen.
National Chairman Johnson Asidin Ketia, however, insists the decision is in the interest of the party.
The point is there is a change in the environment now that creates the need for people with other sets of skills to come on board. That's all. But they were very useful at the time they were there and the situation they had to operate in. They discharged their responsibilities creditably. But if the situation has changed and there is a need for new skill sets, then those with those skills must come on board.